Aloha and welcome to Astrology Now from the Hawaiian Islands. I am Juliet Butters Doty, and I'm streaming from Akaku Community Media in Kahului, Maui. And we certainly are moving on past the middle of August. It's incredible. And the pace remains relentless now that particularly the trickster Mercury has accelerated his speed post being retrograde, and together with multiple planets that are currently retrograde. So that creates an intensity right there. So we're being put on notice to review, recalibrate, reinvent, reconstitute. Think of every reword you can imagine, and it all applies here to turn within and comb through all that has occurred this year as to your soul purpose and future trajectory. Pluto retrograde will insist to further uncover what is hidden within you and show you and myself and all of us included how individually what needs to be eliminated yet still for us to evolve, and also at the collective level too. Saturn retrograde calls for a reality check on what needs to be pruned away regards our discipline or non-discipline, and our focus or non-focus, or any arena where courage lacks. Whilst Neptune continues his push to surrender any further illusions that steer you away from your soul purpose. Just a little footnote here, Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces September 1st. So the harmonic changes here to a more dissolving and surrendering of the past scenario, really letting go. Uranus will station retrograde and join all the other planets September 5th, adding to the number of review emanations coming our way. And less than 2 days later, it's the new moon in Virgo on the 7th. So needless to say, it is a time to pull back, go inside, and recalibrate. It's kind of like a spring cleaning of our internal bits and pieces. And the timing of the Virgo new moon couldn't be more perfect to instill the refinement process even further. So the new moon at 1 degree of Virgo for us in Hawaii, well, for everyone, but our time will be 8 o'clock or just after 8 o'clock at night on the 7th, just after the sun has ingressed a couple of hours prior into the sign of purity and refinement. So we are welcoming in the earthy yin Virgo element, moving from the fires of a fiery yang Leo, shifting elements and clearing out some of the cobwebs that may have gathered. The Virgoan luminaries, sun and moon, square Uranus quite exactly by 1 degree. It's really tight and close, calling for any hidden deceptions to be spotlighted. What haven't you been able to see? How can you discern and sift through all those ideas and internal scripts to feel into and determine what's yours? Welcome to Virgo season. It's all in the details as we are all prompted to pay attention to self-care, to the wholesome order to our daily lives and routines. And do you need to reset your productivity and refine even further? What routines no longer warrant your focus? Where do you still sacrifice yourself? How can you detox even further? Uranus calls the shots here and asks for compliance to make the changes because it's that tight square, whilst Jupiter highlights what lays deeply within our emotional bodies to drive home just where you need to make adjustments and redirect your daily life and your routines and your habits so that you are appropriately nourished. So there is a definitive yod in this new moon chart to Pluto and the Saturn-Neptune lineup. Yods are an aspect that are always about a redirect or a call to make adjustments. So perhaps there is a detail that you haven't seen yet, and with the friction of the yod aspect, after analyzing and listening to your observations, what haven't you been hearing or seeing? Perhaps eliminate where you may have been too critical in undermining yourself, maybe. Detox your internal narrative and prune away to clear your systems to improve on all counts. And that's the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. So release and make the changes that your body or your mind, even your heart, is calling for. So there's also simultaneously a directive from Uranus for truth with a really strong semi-square to Jupiter, who still remains close enough to the fixed star Sirius to amplify the harmonics of the divine masculine to be upheld throughout all of our relational dealings. So whilst drawing from a deeper emotional reservoir within to procure principle and righteousness in all our actions. So you can expect out-of-the-box surprises, certainly seismic events yet again, and maybe big ones because of this exact square, and extreme weather conditions with the message and the square too, and the semi-square from Uranus, as we also are 2 weeks out from the September eclipses of September 7th and 22nd, heralding a rewire and a remix energy. So just a little addition here. Just remember, if Uranus is strong in any chart, he's calling for radical revolutionary change. That's what he's up to. So there is also a waxing trine, thank heavens, to Saturn-Neptune from Venus. So this engenders a more idealistic approach and greater understanding. So that helps us. And Chiron throws in some Dutch courage, asking us to stand in our own right. My right, your right, everyone's rights, urging the Venusian goddess of love to claim the nurturing you deserve by giving it to yourself, while also nurturing your role in your relationships. So she is working this agenda as she approaches the waxing opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. To own your power and release the emotional habits and old ways that are no longer true. So freedom is the outcome desired for all of us. So hold up your end of the opposition. Watch for confrontation in relationships and know it is a catalyst for radical inner change, stripping away illusions, demanding authentic desires, and buried issues which may be indeed revealed. So the exact opposition, therefore, from this new moon chart is building between Pluto and Venus, and that it actually occurs exactly August 27th. In the sign of Leo, initiating boldness in love, creativity, and personal flair and expression. It's an opportunity to purge what no longer serves and align with deeper authenticity whilst powerfully transforming personal values and your self-expression. So the subject of health will be more prominent over the next month because it's Virgo season. Virgo represents our health, as we will have again, 2 new moons in Virgo. The next one in the following month. The second one will be at 29 degrees. So we've got one at 0 degrees and then 29 degrees. And that second one will be the solar eclipse to make her point. More on that when we get there. But additionally, to remind you that we still have not just those 2 new moons in Virgo, but the South Node is in Virgo, and that's strong. And it's ongoing through to next July of 2026. So because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, let's have a look and see what Mercury is up to. Hermes, another name for Mercury, the trickster, stands strongly in Leo, still boldly so, but has 2 quintiles happening. So those are aspects that I'll explain momentarily. One of them is to Mars and the other to Uranus. So the quintile of Mercury to Mars has a more serious note to it, suggesting authentic communication, that's the Leonian piece, with others in all that you do. The Uranian quintile, Uranus to Mercury, perhaps helps with a solid creative impulse to find your track. Maybe you've been on a few tracks. So with a shuffle or 2, you'll find yourself able to speak your truth and own who you are, or perhaps even roar like a lion if you have to. So also what's happening in this new moon chart, Jupiter is squaring Ceres, calling for a repositioning of yourself to feel more secure, whilst Mercury is on the edge of his seat to help you to speak authentically from your heart, to claim just that, acquiring the emotional nourishment needed within. So we stand in a unique and unprecedented chapter in time where our personal soul growth is occurring on an intergenerational level collectively. We are also drawing from the galactic forces, impacting us all simultaneously, marking a significant period of collective growth, as is the solar flares incoming constantly. So it's a tremendous amount. So all of us are being encouraged to view ourselves and our world from a completely new perspective as we witness the ongoing collapse of the old. We are being urged to deeply contemplate how we want to evolve, both as individuals in this lifetime and collectively as a group. So during this elemental and seasonal shift, take time to allow yourself the downtime. When you feel you need to, check out and stop. You know when you're just exhausted. And of course, make the most of it when you feel creative and ready for more. Use Mother Nature and all her gifts that she brings to us each and every day, reveling in her beauty. It will feed your soul. So our next lunation will be a strong total lunar full moon eclipse in Pisces. So remember, eclipses herald change, if Uranus isn't already suggesting it. We are in the midst of eclipse season right now, and so go well, dear ones, until the 7th of September, where Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, will have some watery suggestions for the heart of humanity. Blessings to you all, a hui ho.